Yeah, I'd like to call the meeting property rec committee to order, February 2023. Was the meeting properly noticed?
Yes, it was.
Roll call, let it show that all members are present. The motion to approve the agenda. Motion by Mike Baker. Do I have a second? Seconded by Rocky. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Right. Approved minutes of December 12th, 2022. Motion by Mike Baker. Do I have a second? Second by Rocky. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Right. One opposed. Public participation, we'll take that as needed with any items on the agenda. Do we have any correspondence?
Yeah.
Project status report?
Kyle.
Kyle, are you on?
Yep, I'm on.
Go ahead, Kyle.
Yep. So departments did go through and they did update their projects on here. The ones that are highlighted, we're going to be taking those off in future reports because those are completed. Are there any questions on the project status report?
Any questions, anybody? Mike Baker has a question.
No, I just don't have a question. I just want to comment. It looks like those items that have been completed. There looks like there's significant money saved on each of those items. Which obviously lends to a good job done by somebody.
Yep, sounds good. Okay, treasurer's report.
Pretty quiet on my end, just for you guys anyway. You're welcome to come help me out in the office if you want at this time. I'm hoping to have by this time at the meeting next month that I can have an update with the tax deed foreclosure process that we'll have this year.
Okay. Any questions for Jenny? Okay, moving on, maintenance report, Bill.
Good afternoon, everyone. I did include the report from December 2022 and January 2023 in the packet for your reference. The only addition I would have is the Adams County Fairgrounds. They were doing a project out there, Alliant Energy was, to replace an underground feeder line to one of our transformers because it was over 40 years old and be replaced on a code related issue. We did, when they reached out regarding that replacement, we did kind of sweet talk them a little bit and talked them into removing the other overhead line that feeds to the KFC Knights of Columbus stand to our other main fuse box out there. And they did go ahead and bury that line underground and install the ground mounted transformer for us to clear up that area to the midway there. So it was a nice thing that they did for us. And hopefully that'll make things a lot better for everybody at the fairgrounds in the future. Any questions on the reports?
The only question I would have, that putting that new line underground, that won't affect that grading and paving they're gonna do out there, will it?
No, it won't. They did bury it between the paved area and the I'll call it the 4-H building. And they did bury it deep enough so it will not affect the I did show them the grading plan that we have proposed for that area. So they did bury it plenty deep. They actually directional bored that in. Said they had a heck of a time getting through. There must be a lot of garbage under the ground. I said, yes, there absolutely is, but they were able to get it done nonetheless. So we'll have a little bit of ground grading to clean up when they're all done, but we can handle that now. So,
All right. Any questions for Bill? Was there any frost?
there was some frost, yes, out there, absolutely. Yep. Wasn't too bad. Then once they got picked through the top part, they were able to dig with a shovel about 8 or 10 inches down, so not terrible.
Any other questions? Okay. Parks Department. Doug, Darren, whichever one wants to go first.
Good afternoon, everybody. The weather outside, it's starting to feel like spring. And I guess our workload is starting to look at those types of activities. We're contacting, previous last summer's employees, and we're starting to line up things for the summer. The other big thing we have is Fred Hiders here, North Central Planning Commission, to help work on our outdoor rec plan. Other than that, is there any questions about anything in our report?
Josh?
Yes, Doug, I see this, Parks Rec and Trails Department, this little packet here we have that we open up. It's PDF. I have item number 16, 17, and 18. Can we go to that, please?
I guess I would refer that to when, as soon as we're done with this report, Fred Heider will be making a presentation, and I'll be going through that packet.
Okay, thank you, Doug.
Bill?
Doug, what do you have for staff during the winter?
At Castle Rock, I have one other person. And assistant manager.
And who does the maintenance work for you? Does that
Well, it really depends exactly what project. We try
like
to do.
equipment?
Yeah, we try to do as much of it as we can, some of the simple stuff we do in-house. Anything that's major or internal, so it's to the engine, we might farm out.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Doug. Darren?
The only other addition that I would have is the recruitment for our assistant manager. Additional full-time employee did start today. Mark Rice, who was a previous employee of the LTE, was chosen for the job. So that's the only other thing I really have.
Okay, anybody got any questions for Darren? Josh?
So are we into that? There, number 16, 17, and 18 with.
That'll be next, into the presentation.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Darren? Okay, then moving on to presentation on outdoor recreation plan with Fred Heider.
Thanks very much. I've helped Adams County for the last at least two, every 5 year. We come back and I come back and help the county update their 5-year county outdoor rec plan. And then we also make sure that all the local units of government are included as well. This year, the city of Adams has their own outdoor rec plan, and so we'll be referencing that. Otherwise, we'll make sure that there's also a survey out asking for recommendations if the village wants something or if all the towns want something in their segment. Could be a town park or a village park that they want some improvement to. If it's listed in here, the outdoor rec plan, then they can actually apply for up to a 50% grant for it. And new this time around, I should say, not just 2023, is that anything we put in here, we might actually be able to get 50% funding for. Last time around, 5 years ago, we only had the stewardship funds for DNR that we could do nature-based outdoor recreation improvements. So restrooms at a park always complied with that because that supports the nature-based, walking around of any park. Little trails within a park, that's the walking, that's the nature-based aspect. Purchasing land was always a nature-based aspect. But this year, and actually the last year and a half, I would say, the LawCon is Land and Water Fund, Conservation Fund. That's a federal program that's existed since the 60s, but it's only existed the years that Congress wanted to provide money for it. So now it's permanently established and permanently funded at 900 million annually per nation, not just Wisconsin. So that's active recreation, so that's playgrounds, splash pads, swimming pools, not just the nature base. So now we can put in things into the recommendation section that are nature based or active based, and hopefully get them, you know, up to 50% funded. Then the overview of, you know, what the process would be is I would work with county staff to update the background of the plan, make sure all the existing parks are listed correctly, acreages, maybe something was changed, make sure everything within each park is still there. So it's listed correctly for a DNR, and then I'll make sure that the demographics are updated. Beyond that, so the next part that we'll talk about is a survey. And then once the survey is out, it's back, I'll tabulate it and then bring that back to you along with some sample goals, objectives. And then we can start listing additional recommendations, which we aren't starting from scratch there either. So that's the gist of it. And we'll basically have all of this done sometime in this summer. And then it'll have to go to county board for adoption by resolution when we're all good with that here at this county level, at this committee level. The one attachment that I just wanted to share with you is the gaps and needs in our existing recreation opportunities. This is from the State Comprehensive Outdoor Rec Plan, the current one that they have, which is 2019 through 2023. So they'll be redoing this year and next year. But these 3 pages have a good summary of that entire plan of what the state, the DNR, is looking for each of the regions. And they did their own research to come up with the regional recreation needs. So Adams County is within the Western Sands region. And so they've got a listing there, and I'll just read those off. So if you've got these items, a recommendation that matches one of these items, then you get an extra point of consideration for funding that item. Is it required? No. The only thing that's required is that whatever item you want to apply for has to be in the outdoor rec plan. And you can update that, let's say 2 years down the road, something new comes out. It has to come to this committee. Committee approves it, and then it has to go to county board for a new resolution, and then it's done. So that's the adoption process if we miss something now or something new comes up. So the regional recreation needs bicycling of all types, touring, road biking, mountain biking, bird or wildlife watching, camping, both developed or primitive, canoeing or kayaking, cross-country skiing, dog walking, fishing, hiking, walking, nature trail, trail running, backpacking, horseback riding, big game hunting specifically, picnicking, snowshoeing, and swimming in the lakes and rivers. So I'm sure we'll hit some of those and we'll get an extra point, but just wanted to make you aware of that. Now, the other side is the survey, and that's the meat of the presentation today. So I've done online outdoor rec surveys for probably 9-10 years now, and they've all turned out perfectly, not perfectly, but they've turned out very well versus what we did before, which was mail out a survey, usually 2 pages, and only a handful of questions, where that survey went out to all the local units of government and all of the outdoor rec groups that we have on file at the county level. And we didn't really have an open to the public scenario. Sure, people could come and pick it up, but this one being digital, it makes it easier and we'll get higher numbers from the general public, and that's a good thing. Obviously, we'll have, paper copies, so if there's several places that you want the PDF to be printed and put out in a pile or something, that's still possible with this digital copy as well. So it's not either or, but a lot of people like to fill this out, and sometimes they fill it out at 1 a.m. So the other part overall that I like about the survey is any survey that we do, keeping it open for 4 weeks, a month about. It gives people enough time to see it, and usually the first time they hear about it, they answer within the first week. And then I'll have a good idea of, well, did we actually reach everyone? Maybe we need to go a different way, advertise the link a different way. And because maybe we didn't hit the numbers that we did last year. So those things always change, and I'm confident that we'll get there again this year. Now it's a survey. I always start out with this first question. I'm not going to go through all, every single word. I just want to give you the overall gist of it first. Which recreational activities did you participate in during 2022? So last year. We're not talking in Adams County, so I don't say Adams County in here. Throughout the rest of the document, you'll see a specific park or within Adams County listed within the question. I've asked this question ever since the State Comprehensive Outdoor Rec Plan had it in one of theirs 1,000 years ago, and it brings outdoor recreation thoughts to a person's mind, like, oh, I didn't think of letterboxing or just walking outside as recreation, or walking the dog as recreation. So it gives people a thought, like all these things and maybe more are recreation. And so we always have an other as well. Then they've answered that question, but they have something on their mind. And so I always, as number 2, what potential outdoor recreation opportunities should be developed in Adams County? And that's always bolded or underlined. And so they've got 3 things that they can put in there. That works out really well, because now they can say whatever they're thinking right there. Those are open-ended questions, and that's usually very helpful for people. And then at the end of the survey, we also have, do you have any other thoughts? Question at the end. So then the other parts in the survey here are, we took the 2 main parks, Pete and Will County Park. How often do you use it? And then we say never. If they click never, they know that they're going to skip to the next county park. And then within Pete and Will County Park, and then the next one, Castle Rock, we've got a few questions more detailed inside with an open-ended question at the end, so they can put down their thoughts. And then we get to the variety of parks that we have here. So let's see here. Starting with 13 and 14. How often do you use the following Adams County facilities? And then there's a list of parks or boat launches. And then rate your satisfaction for those same parks or boat launches. And then we've got a specific Patrick Lake question set right there after those. And then we've got the enthusiast questions. Overall, water enthusiast, snowmobile enthusiast, motorized vehicle, ATV, UTV specific, and then off-highway motorcycle, the next enthusiast set of questions, and bicycling enthusiast question. And then there's do you have any other concerns or comments? And then some demographic questions. that hopefully putting the demographic questions at the end, not everyone puts them at the end. I like to put them at the end because then we've built up trust and hopefully they fill them out. And then, what zip code is your permanent residence? And then, do you have a house or seasonal house in Adams County? And then you go to the next question, which is where, which municipality. So that's my overall. Now,
Are you ready for questions?
Yeah.
Josh, go ahead.
Mr. Chair. This is Brad, Supervisor Podolsky here, District 6. How you doing, Fred?
good.
Thanks for coming here today, presentation. I'm looking here particularly at items numbers 16, 17, 18.
Yeah, so 16, 17, 18.
Yeah, so my question is, why is this survey being conducted? What's the purpose? I'm not really clear on that.
We've got, so I talked with staff and one, I wanted to point out that there's some different ways that we can ask questions. But staff wanted to know in Patrick Lake County Park, there's some ball field improvements, fencing that needs to happen or it needs to come out. It needs to be removed because it's in such bad shape. So then we thought, well, we should find out how often the people taking the survey use the park, and then they can rate it number 17, should the county make ball field improvements. And so low priority is a 1-star, high priority would be a 5-star. And then they can comment open-endedly if they should even do that or so.
All right, next question. How are we making the public aware of this survey so they even know that the survey exists and where can they find it, Fred? I mean,
Yeah,
general public. They go about their day and I wouldn't initiate this kind of thing myself to go find something survey like this. So
right.
please help me with this.
Yeah, I mean, so there's a couple ways we can do it. One is, of course, have it on the county website. So if people are looking for a park or boat launch, they see it right away. And we can put that link on a couple different pages on the county website under the outdoor rec pages, the parks pages. The other major thing is word of mouth. A lot of people are a member of some kind of a group. And so an email will go out to each of the contacts that we have on file. If we don't have email, I'll mail it out to the handful of groups that we don't have an email address for. And usually just that gets it out to the general public because that link can be forwarded, put on various Facebook pages, personal Facebook pages, and we can go from there. If there's chambers of commerce, I know there's at least one, they might be able to help put it on their site, their Facebook page. That gets it out. A notice can be put in the paper, like an online notice, or physically. That's up to this committee, like where the best spots would be. Because I don't know specifically in Adams County what the best way to get out to the public is. To your direct question, usually chambers of commerce or Facebook pages of any countywide group, it works well that way. Obviously we can put a notice in the paper, but if there's like an online version of that paper, hopefully, or like I say paper, not just a newspaper, but like a coupon paper. So one that goes out necessarily possibly free on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. And it's a lot of advertising and a couple articles.
Darren, you got a comment?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, if our last round, when we did this, I believe we did we solicited the paper and did a small informational article about it and posted a notice in the, like what we do for different meetings and things. That, you know, we'd appreciate the public's input on this, just a blurb and that pre-shopper guide and the Times Reporter. And with a, I guess, you had someone from the paper do a short little story about why we do it and what the reasoning behind needing the outdoor rec plan is. And while I say that too, is I wondered, Fred, I don't know if the whole committee with several new members here, they understand the real, we're going through the survey, but you kind of didn't really hit on why we need to have this in place. You did a little bit there about the potential funding, but it's not about that these things, once we get to the next steps in these and some of these questions, it is not guaranteed that these things are going to happen. It needs to be in place so that we have the functionality and the mechanism to potentially ask for additional funding for the projects that we may have. It's not that everything that comes with this survey and with this plan is going to happen, but it needs to be done to take that step to look for funding.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, Mike Baker, you have a comment, question?
Yes, has it ever been discussed about putting or giving your survey to each of the towns and have them post it on their own websites? Which would really, I think, give you a greater coverage of the whole county.
Yeah, I didn't say that, but yeah, I'm gonna be forwarding the link and also 3 posters to each of the towns. So they can physically post it. And then the poster will have a QR code about this big, 4 inches by 4 inches, about 3 inches square maybe. So that someone can take their phone, open their camera and then actually click it and take the survey on their phone if they actually go up to one of those meeting boards. But also the link will be there and each of the towns can put on their Facebook and their websites or however they get out news to their public as well.
Something I might suggest would be lake districts. Send all that out to the chairman of all the lake districts. Josh, you have another question?
Mr. Chair, Brad. Is there gonna be an actual link advertised in the newspaper? Have we done that or is that gonna be done? Okay,
Yep, yes. We have done it and we will do it.
just checking. Thank you.
Bill, you have a question?
Mr. Chair, Fred, I'm newly elected to the county board. Can you tell me a little bit about your group? I'm not, are you state funded? Are you an individual group? I mean, maybe you can elaborate on that.
Sure. We've got a 10-county region. We're established as possibly existing by the state about well, actually 50 years ago this year. And all 10 counties are members. And we get a lot of funding from WISDOT. We get a lot of funding from the Federal Economic Development Agency, and I'm blanking. And then we get some money from the 10 member counties through obviously county taxes, and then through projects. This project is free for the county. My time here is free because you're already paying for the Regional Planning Commission to exist. So I'm considered a local government employee. So just like the City of Adams or Village of Friendship, if they have employees that have like state insurance plans or whatever, I operate basically the same way as a local government employee under that state system. So Rocky and 3 people from each county are my boss's boss. So there's about 7 of us in the office. There's a director and then me and several others. And then we're overseen by the commission, 3 members appointed by each county. And then throughout the year, communities might have work for us. We already have a list and it's a revolving ongoing list. And then Some things like this for the county are complimentary, because you already pay us to exist. And then other things that might take some more time, we charge for a nominal fee to cover our costs. And then that's how, and then we break even. So we're here always for any county board member, any local government to call us, email us, any of their governmental questions that we can hopefully assist with, land use planning, economic development. We can make maps. If someone, a town needs a map, we can probably create that, email it to them. There might be a cost or it might be free, things like that. We do road rating. So every 2 years, WISDOT requires every local government to rate their pavement rating. Whether it's gravel road or asphalt or concrete. And so we assist a lot of communities with that. And I think I didn't go through the briefing this year. I don't know if we're charging this year or not, but that was normally complimentary for each of the towns that want that service as well. So that's a variety of our very small amount of variety of our work that we do for local government.
Josh, you've got another question?
Yeah, Mr. Chair. Items number 16, 17, and 18. Particularly, can you tell us, I mean, you went into it a little bit on 16, but what prompted this survey with these items here, Fred?
Oh, yeah, 16, 17, and 18 was just the ball field fencing. So the ball field fencing needs replacement. And so that's why we're asking the questions.
All right, thank you for that, Fred. Appreciate that.
Anybody else got any questions for Fred? I just have one kind of a quick question. We talked about it very briefly before the meeting. If and when we ever decided to put another ATV campground, say by Castle Rock Park, would this qualify for funding from this program?
There's I think there's some dedicated funding for that. And first through stewardship, you can buy land up to 50% through stewardship. And then there's registration fees. So DNR has that. If we're making a campground, that mention would have to be in here. And if we're not ready to make it like this year, if we wanted to in 4 years from now, that, would it be too late as well? It just has to be in there before you apply May 1st of every calendar year for the funding.
Okay, thank you.
And so if the committee has any other, questions that they want of the general public, like, so looking at the question 17, that's a 5-star question. Low priority is 1 star, high priority is 5 stars. And then I always put a no opinion, so people don't feel like they have to have a 1 through 5, they can just mark it. It doesn't apply to me, I want other people to tell me. We can have 5-star questions for other topics that the committee might be thinking, oh, now's a great time, we should ask about this, we've been talking about for 2 years kind of thing. So that's how the Patrick Lake questions came up in the first place. But it provides opportunity to, for this committee, for the county to say, oh, we should maybe ask another question or two. So here's a good place that we can, drop it in there. So outdoor rec related.
Mr. Baker, you got any questions?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, thank you. In looking at the material that you provided prior to the survey, would our county forest projects be part of the recreational survey?
county forest as if there's like. Well, it's outdoor recreation. I mean, we've got as the first question on the survey. Has like hunting, trapping, and that's outdoor recreation. So if we wanted to ask something, that would apply to that forestry, that's hunting, trapping, or make a trail, what should we do with this? We can have a question related to that. And I can have like, think about what the capability of the survey instrument are. I can have like a separate page in the survey, so this Patrick Lake is all three of these questions are on one page, whether you're looking on your phone or a computer. The next page, top of that page could be a picture of the county forest, generally. And then maybe a note could be put in there, like we're thinking of doing something, and then a 5-star question and an open-ended question could be put after that. So we can do something like that in the survey.
That might be helpful, because I don't know that a lot of folks in the county are aware that we do have 2 county forests available to them.
Don't look like there's any more questions. Thank you, Fred. Go ahead.
So if there's anything specifically that you'd like to ask, I get it to the guys, and then over the next couple of weeks, I'll make any changes to the survey, and then we'll get it out over the next probably month for sure. We'll have it open, and I'll have an update that I'll provide the guys for your next meeting if you meet, monthly. So we can tell we've already got several hundred responses. But then, so 2 months from now, I'll be back if there's a meeting that month with survey results, and then the sample goals and objectives based on those survey results. But it's going to be the goals, objectives that you currently have in your outdoor rec plan, just tweaked based on what it looks like the public is looking for through the survey results. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fred.
Next item, update on committees. Bill, you had asked about joining property and rec and building committees. So there you go. This is, I guess I'm here to find out what, so we're open for discussion. So what do you want to accomplish by joining these 2 meetings?
Mr. Chair, I have no reason to go any further with the discussion. So if nobody else would like to be part of the discussion, I would move to move on.
Okay. Anybody else got any talk about discussion on it?
What I was able to find out was that our council thought that it could be done within the 2 committees that we were discussing doing, and I haven't pursued it any farther, and at this time I have no need to.
Okay, well, what I did find out, it would take a change in the rules, which would take a 2/3 vote for the county board to do it. And it would have to go through rules committee and admin and finance. And then go to the whole county
I
board.
wasn't told that, but you may research a little deeper.
Well, I might not be 100% sure, but that's what I talked to court counsel, and that's what we kind of agreed on it would have to happen. And I also talked to chairman of the rules committee. So, all right. Items for the next agenda. He has something he wants to put on there.
Yes, I'd like to have a discussion on the parks ordinance with regards to ATVs in the park. And we can make this a revenue implication kind of thing.
Question I have on that, is Highway Z open for ATVs at that point?
You can get to the park, can't you?
Or no, just as much as me, but at Cass Rock Park, I believe from Dyke Avenue going north. For a certain distance, is that the half? Is open to ATV, south from the park it is not.
So you can get to the park without going on Z,
No, we're going on Z.
the Z is not open, is it?
Yes.
The section I just.
Oh, okay,
From
I'm sorry,
just south of the way to,
I'm sorry, I did not know Z was
But
open.
even if that section was not open, you could access it, I suppose, from Dyke. Avenue. For driving.
Okay. So put that on the agenda for next month, please. And next month's meeting will be. Oh, March 13th, 2:00. Is that right? And Rocky will be chairing next month's meeting because I will be on vacation. I will be attending via Zoom. Anybody have anything else?
I received an email from a fella from up in Wood County regarding Wood County's ATV, UTV. Road usage, county highway usage, as well as the language that was drafted to. Go along with the opening up the county roads. I'm just wondering if anybody else received any email like this. I'll make sure that it's brought to the next meeting to. Coordinate with maybe Rocky's question about the park and the ATVs.
Okay. If nobody's got anything else, we stand adjourned.